your reaction to this latest?
This is just hogwash.
Oh.
This is all hogwash. There are other words.
Uh-oh.
If I cursed, we can't curse on TV, but that you could
you also
use
don't curse off TV.
Right, but still, people get the gist of what I'm saying, right? Because this is so disingenuous.
Oh, wow.
You're urgent? How are you urgent when to get Micah on the field and get this thing done when you won't call his agent? And even, I watched the whole thing. When Jerry talked about how, he thought they had a handshake deal, him and Micah. Okay, but he also said in the same breath, but I understand that, with players, you have to get it signed on the dotted line and a contract and all that. So which I'm not really buying from Jerry, I do believe there was some conversation. Micah was like, that sounds great, something like that. But even if Jerry sincerely thought they had a deal, we got an agreement. We agreed on $40 million or whatever it was per year. Why wouldn't you go call the agent or have somebody call the agent and settle it? Let's get in here and sign it. Micah said this. Now, I don't think the agent would have done that. But Micah, even if he did agree, obviously does not know the fine print, or is not one that should read the fine print and know all the ins and outs of a contract. We have agents, and we got agents that deal with that stuff. So, of course, Micah wants his agent to do it. So don't tell me you're urgent to get this done when you won't even call his agent. And I don't know what the deal is with him and David Mulugeta. Mulugeta is one of the best agents in the league. So I don't know.
Forbes just called him the most powerful guy in the NFL.
I don't understand what in the world is going on. No, he's up there.
I'm just telling you,
he's
a
top
agent
agent.
in the NFL.
Sorry.
Okay. Forbes called him the most powerful agent.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
So
it's probably not more powerful than Goodell.
Yeah. It's disingenuous, I think.
Well,
now, look, quickly,
Yeah,
I do think it's getting done.
Probably.
I'm probably. But Jerry does seem dug in. And the fact of the matter is this, as much as I hope Micah gets his deal,
Micah doesn't have a lot
because
of
the rule, the rules are what they are. He can't sit out. We can talk about that. He can't sit out the whole season. I mean, could he fake an injury? I guess
that's what he can do.
Leverage.
Because, by the way, it was very weird to me that Jerry said he's absolutely not confident Micah's there week one, because Micah has to be there. Like, the one thing Jerry has right is he is under contract, and the one thing Jerry has not stated, but I keep trying to remind the audience, is since he reported he can't hold out, he can't leave. That is going AWOL from the NFL. The penalty is, remember the late Vontae Davis did. You know what I mean? When he quit mid-game and they just said, okay, basically you're done. And so Micah, by showing up, has boxed himself in a bit, and so it was weird when Jerry's like, I'm not sure if he's going to play week one, because the only way he's allowed not to play week one is if he's hurt. And so now we are getting
even if he's been holding in this whole time, week one is like, all right, you're ready to play.
Chris Jones never showed up and was racking up fines.
Gotcha, yeah.
And so it's a important nuance. Guys, don't hold out because they don't want to get fined, but by holding out, what you are allowed to do, if you can take the financial hit, you can stay home until the night before week 10,
right.
Show up, play the rest of the year, and then get credit for your contract year. Now that Micah has shown up, if he leaves at any point, he won't get credit for the contract year. So he has to do a more delicate dance, which is odd. But I am, even if I think this is going to get done, and even if I think we are just being played for a fool the way it was with Dak, more so than CD, which I think everyone thought was going to get done, I am angry on Micah's behalf about Jerry's handling of this. First of all, is your point. This statement cannot be made enough. The Cowboys this offseason have not negotiated with his agent. This is not a negotiation that fell apart. This is not even, market wilds, Trey Hendrickson with the Bengals.
Really?
Where they have talked a bunch, but it's like, you know what? We are too far apart on the things that matter. They won't talk to his agent. And you cannot, now if they wanted to not talk to his agent last year and be like, we know you're eligible for the extension, We have to get Dak and CD done. We think talking would be pointless. It would just annoy you. You know what I mean? Because we know we're not paying you right now. So be it. Not talking to him now when the original term of his rookie contract is over is outrageous. It is what you do to an employee that you do not plan to extend. And the other thing that is outrageous is Jerry talking about handshakes. I totally agree with Jerry Jones. That is how that's not just old Texas oil deals or whatever. A lot of business is done at dinner, over wine. Let's hash it out. Do we have a deal?
Sure.
Homes are sold, businesses, that happens all the time. And a handshake and eye contact between Jerry and David Mulugheta would have been fair. If the story was me and the agent, the two negotiating parties came to an agreement, and then before it got papered, the agent was like, you know what, we want more, I'd be on the Cowboys' side. But you can't say I came to a handshake agreement with a non-negotiating party. Micah is not the negotiating party for Micah Parsons. And so Jerry is the negotiating party for the Cowboys. It is not, and I'm not doubting Micah's intelligence or whatever it is, but it's not his business. Like, it's not his specialty.
Totally.
And so it is outrageous to me for Jerry to spring on Micah a contract discussion. They get to wherever it seems okay and then be like, it's done. We've negotiated. He knows better than that.
Yes.
When he was negotiating to buy the Cowboys, he wasn't talking to whoever owned the Cowboys' son and be like, hey, what do you think your dad would want for this, whatever it is? He was talking to the primary party. And so I think that's disingenuous, even though I agree you can handshake on a deal if you're the two parties actually arguing about the deal.
And to your point, he went all the way back to when he bought the team. He didn't say, with Emmitt Smith, we came to a handshake.
Yeah.
With Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb, with Zach Martin, we came to a hand. None of them. He had to go all the way back 30 some odd years to when he was talking to another executive, so to speak.
Do you actually think they shook on it?
I
bet. Yeah, I bet. I don't know that they.
Like, I'm interested on the. This is so close to having details, but we don't.
So
like,
I bet
what was it?
I bet at the end of that meeting they dapped and hugged.
A dap is not a handshake.
You're not. Are you talking about Micah?
Dap, you can't dap and hug someone.
Are you
for
talking
a
about
business-
Micah?
business deal.
You're talking about Micah.
Yeah, he's saying, do I think
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you mean like a literal like this versus
Yeah, I think what is it like 4/160 versus like cool, see ya.
But I
don't know.
I personally think it was more like, that sounds good to me.
But that's what I'm saying. That doesn't count.
Right. That's all I think it was.
And what I'm saying is,
I don't think it was
none of it
official.
counts.
Yeah, I mean,
I am
obviously,
saying
legally
that
it doesn't count.
That it is not even legally. I'm talking about ephemerally,
culturally,
ethically. I'm just saying that if, like you said, we have agents. If my agent was trying to get in contact with one of the bosses, and one of the bosses called me to talk about something else, and then money came up, and I'm a little caught off guard, and I don't want to whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure, well, you guys will work it out. That sounds good, what you're saying. And then and then his public stance was, that deal is done. Right. We have agreed to terms. I'd be livid. And I'm older than Micah. You know what I mean? I argue for a living. Like so I just think it's unfair. And I don't think it's how business is actually done.
Of course not.
Yeah.
It's like it's
the fact that he's going this route does make you wonder, like, how does he feel about Mike? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I don't
your
understand.
best player.
It's also not good for the Dallas Cowboys.
No.
Like, what upsets me a little bit is, I'm not a Cowboys fan. If they win or lose, I prefer if they were interesting. Yeah. But Jerry will come on and say, nobody wants to win more than me. I want to win a Super Bowl. We'll have to do this whole thing over and over. You know what the combined score of, they played the Eagles in 28 days? The combined score of their last two games against the Eagles, 75-13. Are you putting yourself in a position to beat the Eagles week one right now?
No, but he's dominating the talk show.
Who cares?
He cares.
So that part I agree.
He cares.
That part, and
Yeah,
that is, and it will, and I think if this gets done a la Dak on the eve of the season, and we and all the shows do another 20 topics on it, I think Jerry will think, I'm the best. Look at what I can do.
Yeah, he will.
Look, this whole everyone else,
and
everybody.
they'll go 9-8,
right?
but
Yeah.
he
He will feel like nobody gets and understands what I understand.
Dak, tell me if I'm wrong. Dak was also in the red jersey because he talked about it, and
fully participating.
Micah's
Correct.
Micah's hanging
CD
out.
wasn't. CD though was a true holdout. But they also didn't.
But they did CD late August, I think.
Late August. They did CD like 5 days before Dak.
Oh, okay.
But still, and CD didn't have as good of a year as he had the year before. Now part of that Dak was hurt. Like, it's not helpful. It's only helpful in this regard that it is. Listen, I give Kevin Clark credit. He's the first person I ever heard say this, and he's right. He's like, if a genie came to Jerry Jones and said, you can win the next 3 Super Bowls, but you'll never be able to do another press conference, Jerry would say, no deal.
Absolutely.
And this is a cousin of that.
Moving on.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, the genie part or the
Shedeur Sanders, 4th on the depth chart, but first to take snap on Friday for the Browns' preseason game against the Panthers. Stefanski saying Cleveland will rest starters, who Shedeur hasn't been working with during training camp anyways. That'll scare
You know who else
wants
looked good?
everybody to know. Hey, the defense will be on point. All right,
his biceps
QB
look
tracker.
like a thigh.
QB tracker. We've added a quarterback.
And also, this one we have extra info on.
Oh, good.
Which is Pickett and Gabriel
Yeah.
exclusively as 7-on-7.
So it's
Because they
you
won't-
can't really put those with the.
Well, I mean, but
I think
keep
they
in mind
all
some
are
of the
kinda
other
in.
ones that have been that as well. But because Pickett and Gabriel aren't allowed to do 11-on-11 right now because they don't want to re-aggravate the hamstrings.
So there you go.
Context. Yeah, go ahead.
Shedeur was 4 for 7.
Yeah.
but 11 on 11.
11 on 11. How are you feeling today? We did the breaking news yesterday. You've had a day to let it marinate. How are you feeling about Shedeur now?
Well, look, there's been so much speculation, even on our part, on everybody's part. Who drafted him? Was it the owner? Was it the front office? Do the front office and the coaches not like him? Are they being unfair to him? Are they afraid to lose their jobs? I mean, there's so much speculation. Shedeur Sanders can make all of it irrelevant. All of it, including where he was drafted, including being drafted in the 5th round. I get it, he won't get the contract, but he can erase all of this with a great performance in this game. And I get it, people are saying, that's a lot to ask.
It is a lot to ask.
Hold up. I mean, this is what the NFL is about. You have to grab a hold of your opportunities. Tom Brady, I get it, he's the GOAT. But he had one chance. Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. He goes in there and they just start running off wins. He had one shot. And Brock Purdy, I'm not even trying to start a Purdy thing. Purdy had one chance. Like, he was Mr. Irrelevant. He's thrown in against legitimate NFL teams in the regular season and hasn't played with the ones, right? All of that. And so Shedeur, I get it. Well, I don't know if the ones, how much they'll even play.
They said very little.
Yeah, so, but, he hasn't had those reps. But this is what it's about. And I'll give him this. Look, because of his last name, he's had pressure on him his whole life because your dad was a superstar athlete. So everybody thinks, are you going to be that? Can you live up to that? His first game at Colorado, remember, they're playing TCU coming off TCU being in the national championship game. And he throws for 510 yards. So I think he's up to the task of meeting the moment, but he's got to meet it because if he does, this whole thing takes a giant turn.
But what he's not used to, and that he would be dealing with if he were the Browns' starting quarterback in the regular season, but to a far greater extent this Friday, is he's not used to, oh, your DBs are way better than my receivers. And with Judy and the other top Browns receivers not expected to play, you know what I mean? They already, after Judy, are very thin there to begin with. And the Panthers are expected to play their starters in the beginning defensively. Now, J.C. Horn was in a car accident today. He tweeted he's okay. But, he usually has, at Jackson State, I went and saw him, and and it was him and Travis against, oh God, who were they playing? It was Southern Classic, I forget, but regardless, and it was like, oh yeah, those guys are just in a different world than the opponents. And even at Colorado, while a lot of the guys on his team were not as good as the guys they were facing, his receivers pretty dope. It was Travis and Jimmy Horn, and so he had real more than a fighting chance there. But I agree with you, Brew, in that it's not exactly fair, but it is kind of the best he could have hoped for. Yeah. The fact that he is going to get the majority of the reps in the Browns' first preseason game, he had to draw to an inside straight flush of things for that to happen. And it was what, KW?
Oh, no one knows what you're talking.
Okay, hey, Brew understood. And so
we card players.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Brew. And there's a great quote that I wish I had I had committed to memory because I actually used it. It was my senior quote in high school.
Oh, wow.
But FDR, there was a guy who was trying to do the FDR's portrait. And he kept showing up to the White House, already, everything. And FDR was like, too busy, can't do it, too busy, can't do it. Like a month into it, the guy's getting ready to leave one day, he's been there all day, FDR comes down the stairs, he's like, right now. And the guy's all flustered, he's like, hey man, this is your moment. He's like, fair or not, everyone's going to judge you forever.
FDR said
this to the painter.
Wow.
Like, you got to, you got to
step up.
Right, you got it. Like, this is your moment. And sometimes things like that come across in life, and it's just like, there's a fork in the road. Now, I agree, if it goes poorly, he will have time to recover, but it's a huge setback. This is an opportunity to accelerate the process massively that I don't think any of us realistically saw coming this early. But because of Pickett's injury, Gabriel's injury, the fact that they don't want to play Flacco, he's now, and it's not going to be any questions like it's going to be on NFL Network Friday night and probably one of the higher rated preseason games in recent memory, and we'll get to see what he looks like.
Brew, what do you think the chances are? I don't know how to ask this question, but what are the chances are? I kind of have three kind of buckets in my mind. That he wows you, that it's just kind of mediocre, neither going to, or it's a dud, maybe because of lack of reps in practice.
I think I feel like it's the obvious answer. The middle choice is what's more likely that
which is probably a win.
He's all
right.
It's not a loss. It's not a loss if he goes in there. They don't have any problems at the line of scrimmage. He's getting the team out of the huddle quickly.
Just seems like a normal kind of preseason
and
game.
he's pretty good. It would be great if he could do what Trey Lance just did last week.
I think that's unrealistic.
But
because
it is what
Trey's
it
been
is.
in training camps for years. You know what I mean?
No,
Trey,
I get that it's a lot to ask, but it would be great if that would be the
awesome.
highest.
Yes.
I don't think he'll be a dud. I think he's going to play. He's going to get at least a half.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like that's too long, unless he's just completely out of his league.
He's going to be good.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be a dud.
I don't think it. So I think I am going to. Maybe he'll be great. Maybe he'll be awful. But if it's in the middle, the way I will judge it is I just want to see how he looks in the preseason compared to Dylan Gabriel. Because in my opinion, that's the only person he's competing with. His first and foremost goal needs to be, I need to be the best rookie quarterback on this team. Because if he is, he will get to start this year.
Right.
Joe Flacco is not starting 17 games. The owner told us. The owner said, we need to start both the rookies at some point. But the problem with that is, if the first rookie who you start plays well, then he's the only rookie you're going to start. You know what I mean? And so
that schedule's a little rough. I wouldn't mind being the second guy in.
No, but But Flacco's going to be the first guy, is what I'm saying. And I think they're going to stick with Flacco for more than a month. I don't think, you know what I mean? And so, but he needs to give himself a fighting chance to be the Browns' backup quarterback. Yeah. And I think he's only going to do that through preseason.
You gotta look at the Browns' schedule. I wonder if
it's a tough. They're going to be 1-7 or 2-6.
I wonder if it's advantageous to actually be. There we go. Or suppose Flacco loses to the Patriots.
Crazy.
And it's like, all right, let's switch over to someone. Jets, the Ravens game is not going to go well.
No, but I mean,
I guess
it's
it's
the
not
NFL.
bad. I guess it's not
just
that bad.
really tough early. And he's not gonna. That left column is the really
left
tough
column's
one.
actually
right,
worse.
but that's Flacco. That's sorry, Joe.
The bye week is when he's going to start. If he or
Aaron
Gabriel
Glenn,
or
then you got the Ravens.
Well, I mean, we can always do. There's always ways to find it to be Max Crosby and
yes,
there's
it
great
doesn't
players
get
everywhere.
easy, but it gets easier.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's got to play.
But he's got to
NFL
play well Sunday.
competition, Right.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.